We interrupt what you're watching right now to bring you this exciting story.
It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's some handwritten letters from home. It's some sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. It's red, white, and blue. Lay down his life. It's red, white, and blue. For these stars and stripes. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop. And his 18th birthday was the day he was born. It's the red, white, and blue. Lay down his life. It's the red, white, and blue. For these stars and stripes. It's the red, white, and blue. Stand on the front line. It's the red, white, and blue. Pay the ultimate price. He was the man of the hills when he was born. His family was proud but torn. But if you knew him, you would understand. He was raised on how to be brave, just to see the flag still wave. And then he came home with all he wanted. It's Mr. Red, White, and Blue. Lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. For these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. Stand on these red lines. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. To pay the ultimate price. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. Lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. For these stars and stripes. March in line. March in line. Hey. Hey.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, whew. Check, check. Oh, there I am. Wow. I thought I didn't have any sound for a second. I had my headphones shut off so I didn't get music blasted in my ear during the promo. So, well, good evening, good day, good afternoon. It is a Sunday. I have, again, we did a huge upgrade. Things look different here on my side. You'll see on the bottom shot, we had the camera up top. And we're working that out. So, I mean, it's a little like, but we got to turn that, we'll turn that down a little bit. and fine tune that a little bit so you can actually see the images a little bit better. But it's hard to see them during the day. Then we go into the evening, we have to tone the lights and the cameras and everything down because it changes. Well, that's why studios are in a dark box so they can control it a little bit better. But hey, this is live from the dining room, so that's okay. But yeah, we have our big TV up on the screen here. Oop, look at that. See, we can run everyone's ads through the whole thing. I hope it's not too annoying. You won't be stuck watching them all night. This is just when we get going. New tripod. So I'm looking at my screen. I'm looking at you, not doing this, like we had in the past. It's just revamping, redesigning, re-engineering, rebuilding, and making the magic happen. So we have a good product. And when we have folks from all over the country watching the show, they're like, hey, this guy and this girl out here at Harbor Creek, they're not doing a bad job. We try to make it as best we can. We try to make it look professional. We try to make it look presentable. We just don't have a camera stuck onto a wall, and we call it a podcast. That's not what we're about. That's not what we're trying to do. We put everything we can into the show, good, bad, and ugly. Sometimes we argue about stuff, but that's okay. We all work it out. So what a beautiful Sunday. It was a little warm today. Went outside for a little bit. I not to go into great details, but I was inside most of the day. I took a really long nap. I was up late last night. No big deal. Had to go outside and help Brenda pound some stakes into the ground. Man work. Not saying that women can't, but I'm just saying she needed some help. We got that. So yeah, let's see. We'll look at the channels here. Nobody on X, Facebook, and of course YouTube. So right now Facebook's winning. Our family from X are not there. That's okay. We don't mind. A lot of times they come in here, contact if I'm wrong, but haven't heard much from Chucky. Yeah, well, he's lame duck. Well, he was down at he did. There was a video out about he was doing his whole pastor thing at an event involving the shooting in the city of Erie with the parole agent. Of course, he loved to rile up the locals, and he did do that, which is really unfortunate. Instead of just staying on the facts and waiting for, I don't know, what's the thing called, due process, because the Democrats love to say we don't give anybody due process, but when it doesn't fit their agenda, due process doesn't work either. So he was down there, riling everybody up, and he was in his preacher mode and, the fake preacher that he is. So yeah, he's pretty low profile. I mean, he's lame duck. He didn't get reelected. He took a big step out to run for controller, came in dead last. I mean, dead last. So, that's gotta hurt his ego a little bit. And that's just the way she rolls. The people have spoken. Come on, you two rock. Yeah, there we go. But it's nice to see everybody. We got Lance, we got Kim, we got Mark, we got the folks coming in, the YouTube folks. I can't see you unless Aunt G's in the room. I can't see you unless you say hi, because you're just in the one of the rooms, and the rooms are many. And until you actually say something or type something in the room, I don't know you're here. But that's okay. We got a lot of videos. The big ticket local item we need to talk about are these mini homes. This town is nothing but run by hypocrites. We have the story, and then I'm going to show you why they're hypocrites. People are like, well, you're skewing the facts. These aren't my words. All we do is we find the news sources, the local news media that do the stories, and we just present them to you. We don't edit them up. We don't alter them. They're not AI. They are from the local news entities to show you how hypocrite they are. When Brenton Davis set out on this project, he's working on the city of Erie's homeless problem, not the city of Erie, not city council. They throw a couple dollars at it, and we'll make sure the monkeys are okay, and that's great. Make sure we have our LGBTQ NRPR parades, and make sure everything's like that, and they make sure all those agendas are taken care of. But the people that are most vulnerable in our community don't really get top billing. So the county executive, and then it was nice when I was on county. These were plans that we worked on, and we put together the monies and figured out how to make this happen as a county council to take care of the city of Erie. As I roll my eyes, because we spend more of our time on the city of Erie than we do helping the folks in the county, and that was my priority one. When we did the gap funding, we made sure that the money got spent not in the city of Erie. It got spent out in Northeast for a new sewer and water lines. It got sent out to Ellen Showerman's district to help with their water system out there. But these guys today, all they care about is making sure that they hate Brenton Davis. They make sure that they push every agenda they can to make his life miserable and sue him. Look at that map. Matt's here, Lieutenant. How was AT? Did you guys have fun? Did you go do a little pew, pew, pew on the ranges and get all trained up? Turning in from the golf course. Yeah, it was a good day for golfing, I guess. I don't golf. I'm not a golfer. Brent was a golfer. I'm not. I like putt, and that's a nice day. Turning in from golf course. Hello, Sergeant. Gwen, what are you making? I didn't see the text. She's probably making something good that we're not supposed to have, but that's okay. So other than that, it's really been exciting couple of days. There's a lot of things. Hi from the Jeep on our way to the Straw Hat. Oh, I see how you guys are. Got to go all the way out to Northeast for ice cream. Smart move. Straw Hat's great. They got every flavor, and it's a great place. They got picnic tables out there. Locally owned, of course. I don't know if the Haynes family still owns that or not. I know one of the guys out at the high school, Eddie Haynes, and his family used to own it. I'm not sure who owns it now. So if anybody knows who actually owns it, let me know. Fireball ice cream. I know that is yummy stuff. Oh, let's see. What is Matt's talking? I ever put him on a big screen. There we go. Oh yeah, just dandy. My section is up, ready to fight. There we go. Went to SRP for pre-MOB. All right, English, Lieutenant, for the non-military speaking. But it's okay. Oh, okay. Seaver's own it now. All right, because I wasn't sure. I know the Haynes used to own it. I know it changed hands, but they still haven't changed anything except when we go out there. And what do they have at the front, right where you're ordering the ice cream? A big chicken. Of course, Brenda tries to pick it up and put it on the back of the motorcycle, and of course, it doesn't fit. No, I'm kidding. She wouldn't do that. But she goes, "Oh, that's pretty cool." I said, "Well, I know." And she went online, looked how expensive they are. Like, oh yeah. Who else loves ice cream? Well, Brenton Davis is in the room. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate that. Good, because we're talking a lot about you tonight. We got some great videos about the tiny homes dilemma. And it's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely. I know social media, I've been pushing it around. Brenton's been pushing around. Everybody around here has been pushing it around because it's just an issue of how ridiculous do we have to fight. And then of course, Wesleyville manager, he has to chime in, which he has like zero say on any of this other than his new thing. He does TikToks every other day, which that's nice. Hey, we paved a road. Well, that's great. That's your job. So he had to chime in that, no one's above the law and you guys have to follow the rules and regulations, this the building codes, blah, blah, blah. It's a temporary house. It's a shed, for God's sake. Mine, Wesleyville. Don't worry about the big boys doing the big boy stuff. You worry about Wesleyville, and we'll go from there. So yeah, Brenda, she just sent me a text. Go ahead, Brenda. Play that tiny home videos we have from the local news.
Local nonprofit is ramping up efforts to help out families who are experiencing a housing crisis.
Erie News Now, Jameson Hixema is joining us live tonight from Community Shelter Services in Erie with more on those efforts. Jameson, good evening.
Good evening. The organization's been helping out families experiencing homelessness for the past 50 years, but for the first time ever, they're able to keep families together. And it's all thanks to these tiny homes. Now, I'm going to take a step outside the shot so you can take a live look at them for yourself. Now, the 12 by 16-foot homes serve as temporary housing for homeless families. The shelter just added 3 additional units, bringing the total up to 4, and it's now being called the Kiwanis Family Village. And as it stands right now, when families seek assistance from community shelter services, men have to stay on one side of the shelter away from women and children. The tiny homes will allow families to stay together. Now, the nonprofit provides emergency shelter for up to 65 people and is constantly at maximum capacity. Now, the tiny homes will allow the shelter to provide temporary housing for an extra 20 people. And according to Executive Director Diane Lizette, the need for additional housing is tremendous.
The need is great. We are full every night. Our phone is ringing constantly, hoping for a bed. The important thing here today is keeping families together. We have mom, dad, and a teenage son that will be joining us in one of the homes, and several other families in the others.
Now, I'm going to stop it for just 1 second to catch up. Now, look at the bottom right-hand corner. What does it say? 1 year ago, this project was put in motion. Again, just to draw your attention to it. Now, Brenda put these 2 stories together, so they blend together nicely. She does great editing work, and she put it together. So I just want to draw your attention. This was a year ago that these little tiny houses were put in the city of Erie. Now,
And Community Shelter Services plans to add a 5th home the week of Thanksgiving. There's actually going to be a ribbon-cutting celebration and ceremony tomorrow right here in celebration of these 3 new homes, and the community is invited to attend. That gets underway at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Jameson Hicksonbaugh, Erie News Now.
Leaders continues as a plan to shelter the homeless stalls. Reporter Nicole Lee joins us with more on the delayed tiny homes project. Nicole?
Brian, both city and county leaders agree there's a critical need to shelter the homeless, but this joint project remains in limbo and shows no signs of forward motion.
Homeless people in the city of Erie remain unsheltered, currently in uncomfortable heat, but before long, temperatures will be freezing again. Meanwhile, 25 tiny homes meant to house them sit unoccupied on the 400 block of East 16th Street, as they have for months. Erie County Executive Brenton Davis blames City of Erie leaders for refusing to provide approvals to move the project forward.
You know, unfortunately, we've reached a point of where there's a lack of common sense and there's a lack of action, you know, coming out of the city specifically. And I'm at the point where I'm unapologetic. Like, this needs to be built. It will be built.
But City of Erie Development Director Chris Groner says the county never provided final plans for approval.
There's a code. There's a building code that's been adopted by the state. There are certain rules you have to follow. To say you're going to do it regardless probably is not the right approach.
Davis says tiny homes meant for temporary emergency housing shouldn't be held to the same standards as traditional housing.
Clearly, it's a double standard because we can go 10 blocks this direction and see tiny houses with no skirting, not on foundations, connected directly back into a shelter building.
When you have somebody say that this is going to be temporary and then a few months later you find out it's not, that's the exact issue we're trying to avoid here. If we get this right out of the gate, we won't have that issue.
Unless a compromise is reached, these tiny homes will remain empty while local families continue to live without shelter.
Davis says the original plan was to have not just 25, but 50 tiny homes ready for occupancy by the end of this year. Brian?
make a statement with 0%. Well, there you go. Right from the news. Not skewed facts, not my opinion, not Brenton's opinion, but the facts laid out to you by a local news people looking into the story. You know, it's okay for them, but not us. This thing stinks. I mean, stinks the high heaven of politics. It's nothing to trip up Brenton and making sure that he's not on the news doing something positive that the city of Erie can't do. And that's what he's proven over and over and over again. He has proved the city can't do their job. City council is an absolute joke. You literally have you got the racist, you got the rock thrower, and now you got shooter up there. I mean, that's a real bang up of a group of people. Oh, he is? Well, bring him on. I didn't know that. Well, hello, County Executive Brenton Davis. Thanks for the surprise, sir. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Nice. Well, we wanted to make sure that you were getting some fair shake, not on the main media, but they've been doing you pretty decent, actually. And I think this thing's all politics. What's your spin?
I mean, it's a hundred. Well, I mean, part of it, I think you've got the inaction of the mayor. Obviously, we have a lame duck, that, I mean, he lost an election. And I mean, that's just, we all kind of seen that coming. I mean, just inaction after inaction, it is what it is. Expecting the tide to change in the final months of a lame duck term, it's not much. But I think a lot of the problem comes with like the bureaucracy under that. You got zoning folks, you've got code inspectors, you got all these folks. And when people sit there and say, you got to follow the law, you got to, like, listen, how on earth can you violate a law when nothing's developed? Like, all these tiny houses were built off site, they're just rough framed. So there's 5 of them that have plumbing and electric and showers and toilets. And, these are at the point of a rough inspection, so at the end of the day, it's just kind of like moving goalposts. These things have been built since January, February, and we've been working through this process. I mean, now we're in like the 8th month of this. I mean, you're talking 8 months of like just going back and forth of the move. What I mean by moving goalposts, when you say this would be a pretty straight up and down approval. I mean, it's a 12-foot by 30-foot long building. Obviously, the ones in the Kiwanis village didn't endure the same thing, and the mayor himself paid for one of those buildings, which is great. I'm not advocating to in place barriers on these folks because they're functioning, they're doing work. I mean, if you want to snipe this thing, I mean, you can tell like there's wooden paneling inside that doesn't meet fire code. The egress, the windows aren't large enough. Like, the things that we've done in these tiny houses meet fire code. They're sheathed, they're drywalled, they have egress, like fire rated egress for a fireman to go in and out of these in a full kit. Um, Everything that we have is close to possible of a residential house. But when you look at the International Building Code, the IRC, it's clear. I mean, there's not a ton of constraints on a tiny house because they're new. It's gray area. But what we're having is we have local Democrats that want to be a barrier to housing our local residents, and they want to make this political by saying, oh, well, you're violating the law. You're not following the law. Like, we haven't done a single step in development yet, other than we've had these things rough framed. We're ready to move forward, but we can't do the work and finish them until they're on a foundation, because you want to run your utilities and do all these other things. So, I mean, to me, it's just political opportunity for these folks. I mean, at the end of the day, I just find it funny, that they want to take shots at not following the law when no law has been violated. Like, my whole point here is we're still in this double standard back and forth with the city. So instead of trying to find the one way that we can make this work, they want to keep coming back with 112 different ways as to what we need. Things like, oh no, like the outdoor rooms of the Kiwanis village, they're saying, oh, we know that doesn't qualify. So then we had to go down this road of trying to figure out now you're trying to square peg round hole a tiny house into the same standards of a residential build when you've got an example across town. Who cares whether it's permanent? When you're making excuses and you're more worried about paperwork and some imaginary zoning than you are getting people off the streets. And I get it. You can say, oh, well, it's not safe. It's not this. It's not that. We've got people sleeping under the city streets in like going down in manhole covers and storm sewers, underground passages of the old rail beds and things. Like, how do you know there's not gas, or you catch a flood? I mean, there's a lot of different things, and even like you and I kind of had some brief conversation this morning about the solutions there. I posted on the county page this morning about the solution in Harrisburg. Let's make a gravel lot and let's put tents on that and create a tent city encampment for our unhoused. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, that is not a acceptable way, I think, to treat human beings. I mean, when you're talking 12 foot by 30 foot, and some of these are 2 stories, like, so I mean, we have 720 square feet. I mean, that's a pretty good size house to truly stabilize a family. Now look at the video clip that you just had. I mean, imagine that. I mean, a 12 by 16, a 12 by 16 square foot. I mean, and then they're talking about housing families in that. Like, that's a single room. That's a single room. Where some of these units that we have are 3 and 4 bedrooms. That you can have like an actual international building code size standard bedroom with egress windows and everything you need to do this and do this safely. So I mean, it's all politics at the end of the day. And I just got tired about it. We in that follow up interview that wasn't planned. It wasn't a political tactic. I mean, they cold called and wanted to know where it was, and I just told them the fact and reality of where it was. And hopefully the city comes to the table. I talked to Chuck Nelson this morning, and he specifically said he doesn't understand why this wouldn't meet the code, because he said he specifically changed the zoning for these outdoor type rooms with no limit in order to facilitate these kinds of projects here. So he said he was going to flip over some rocks tomorrow morning and see if he couldn't get some progress there in City Hall. So I mean, honestly, there's a Democrat that typically we don't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, but I mean, we definitely share the concern for the unhoused folks, and we're willing to set politics aside to get that done.
And that's the way it's supposed to be. That's what really irritates me. It's not like you just had them shipped down from Canada with just, hey, by the way, here we are, boys and girls. You have been crystal clear and transparent as you can with the day you came up with this idea, the day you were down there cutting the lumber and had the kids working on these things, that this project was coming. And then,
100%. And even the mayor himself, I mean, the mayor himself has stood at 2 different press conferences talking about this. And so when it comes down to it, you look at the site plans and some of this other stuff for the Kiwanis village, for them to claim that, like, oh, well, we thought these were temporary. Like, what the hell did you think was going to happen when they were burying utility lines in the ground? I mean, this is the same thing. And like I said, like, I think what they're doing, I think is lovely, because the alternative to people sleeping in the streets is not a great alternative. So I mean, I'm thankful for what Diane and her folks are doing, and all these folks, Yuma and all of them that provide these services. I just think to the point where government fails when it loses common sense and it starts putting like bureaucracy over people, to the point where you have to weigh what's in front of you. And obviously, like, they talk about code, like, you can go to a code appeals board. I mean, you can do it. We did it with Troy Bingham up at the sports park.
right.
I mean, a code is something that's meant to be there for general safety, but does it make a damn bit of difference if we have 7 foot 8 inches of clearance in a loft? Like, does it make a difference? I mean, if you look at the tiny homes code, the stairways can be as skinny as 17 inches wide. Like, ours are 36 to code. So I mean, the doorways to code, like, our plumbing, our electrical, like the roofing, the insulation, it's all to code. So I mean, when it comes to making exceptions for a foundation, and then they wanted us to dig entire foundations, like lay footers, lay block, insulate, and then, which would force you to have to put steel I-beams across it, because these aren't meant to span things. They're meant to sit flat on a like a slab or a concrete, or just a gravel pad. But that would add another $300,000-$400,000 to the cost of this project, number one, which would cut down, another 15 houses that we could build. So all you're doing is taking away from the opportunities to give people the housing. And this is transitional housing. It's not meant to be long term. So I mean, any of this at the end of the day, I mean, honestly, I mean, I don't want to say it's political, but it sure as heck appears to be that way.
Yeah, and trust me, I'm not the elected official, but I'm the guy that was an elected official, and we sat down, and I remember when these were, ideas that were on napkins, and started the motion. And I can say it, this thing stinks of politics. because there's no reason any politician in this area, in the tri-state area, would say no to making sure somebody or some people have a place to sleep. And I mean, I look at the video from the news where they had their 5 little houses, and I didn't even think about that. Don't tell everybody I belong to a volunteer fire department. I didn't even catch the window sizes on those. You're absolutely positively correct on
So,
that.
and here's the other thing. I think they're up to like 12, right? So, I mean, but you're not even talking about window sizes. I mean, that's one major issue. I mean, fire code. I mean, you have to have drywall. That's not, I mean, like, there's a lot of different things, but also like the clearances between building to building, but again, it's like good initiative because, yeah, there are some risks. Like, you have to take calculated risk and you mitigate it as best as you possibly can. Like, if any one of us were out in this heat, had nowhere to like clean ourselves, sleep safely behind a locked door, and if that's you and your kids, there's people that sleep in cars, and I mean, you get asphyxiated. I mean, those are things we worry about, in terms of like the interstate pileups. I mean, when you got people sleeping in sewer drains and down along the railroad tracks, I mean, these people are victims of crime, and it goes unreported. I mean, it goes unreported most of the time. So, I mean, to me, I mean, if you want to do away with the blight and the appearance of the unhoused, like, you've got to provide a viable alternative. But this is why we call it a pathway home, because that gives them the services that they need, the wraparound services to stabilize themselves. Because take even the Republicans that are typically against, or the conservatives that are typically against what many call a hand up. Well, this is a hand up because it comes with a work requirement. You're not going to just move in here and live there for 2 years. Like, it's a short term transitional opportunity. You've got to have housing. You've got to be obviously free of the use of addictive substances and things of that nature. But I mean, here's the thing that people don't know. And the number one cause of why we remove kids in the county through OCY is due to housing insecurity. So, I mean, it's not due to abuse. It's not due to neglect. It's not due to any of those things. It's housing insecurity. It's mom and dad coming on hard times, a single family, single income family, whatever it is. Somebody gets injured, loses a job, or just finds the unemployment line due to no fault of their own. And when that rent money stops and that eviction notice shows up and the sheriff show up at your door, it's time to get out. So, I mean, what kind of trauma, what kind of things does it cause those families? What do those children in that nuclear family unit go through? And then taxpayers, keep in mind, we're funding that. We're 100% funding that. So, I mean, this is really aimed at solving some of the greatest problems that we have, that families that could go into a very quick downward spiral. It's the stopgap for that, to help them get on their feet for 2, 3, 4 months, whatever it takes, get them into permanent housing, back to work or employment or whatever it is that they need to do. And those children don't have to endure that hardship of being in placement with a foster home, and obviously things spiral out from there. So, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why we do what we do. But anybody peddling the narrative that these things aren't safe, they're not to code, I mean, it's not any of those things, because we're at the opportunity where we're working with the city to be reasonable. But I mean, I'm not gonna meet unnecessary expenses, simply because some bureaucrat in an office thinks that these things need 4 foot of concrete to sit on, when that's just not reality. I've made a living for over 20 years doing this, and I know when something's not necessary, we're not going to do it.
Right. And I get that. There's a lot of questions that come up in the room. I don't know if you can see them or not, but my question for you is, do they have to go into the city of Erie? Can't we just bypass all their baloney and go somewhere else?
So, I mean, the goal was to do 50 of these by the end of the year.
Right.
25 in the city, 25 scattered model. We've got the Corey redevelopment, looking for some locations out in the county.
Awesome.
Looking at putting a few in Corey, a few in Union City. Like, even if you put 1 or 2 of these in like Northeast, another couple out in like Albion, Lake City, Girard area, it just gives, I mean, it'd be my goal to see at least 2 of these in each school district. That way when kids don't, they're still on a bus line, something happens, through partnerships with local churches and things of that nature. That way the kids aren't disrupted and have to move from, say, Fort LaBeouf School District or, Northwestern School District and have to schlep all the way into the city. And, it puts another burden on the family and takes them away from their resources and their social capital. So, I mean, the less time families have to spend getting to stability, the more time they can focus on getting themselves right. You know what I mean? Or the more times they don't focus on survivability, they can focus on stability. But I mean, that's 100% an option. I don't want to see that because the greatest need is in the city. I mean, there's stress on downtown businesses. There's stress on social services, like Diane said in the video there. I mean, there's a huge need that's not met. So, I mean, this is an easy alley-oop for our overflow shelter as well, to transition the folks from an overflow shelter to employment, to the wraparound services they need, to a 2 or 3 month stay in the transitional housing, and then off to permanent housing once they have a stable job. I mean, it's all right there. It's all right there in the same 100-yard block. So, I mean, we could put all 25 of these out in the county, but, I think for the greatest impact for mass effects, we got to shoot center mass, and that's right where that is. I mean, we didn't turn that work release building into an overflow shelter because there isn't a need. I mean, if you look at the heat mapping and you follow the data, that is literally ground zero for the greatest need.
No, I totally get that. But these are things that, I see people on social media, people in the room here talking about it. And this is how we fix things is we have people start talking, put pressure on the elected officials to say, just do your job. This is a no-brainer. And
Well,
people think
it-
the Erie is the only place with homeless people. It
and
is
here's
countywide.
the thing about it is it's not like I'm asking the mayor to come up with any money. I mean, we've got $2 million of American Rescue Plan funding allocated. A lot. I mean, the labor was donated. I mean, we had the local union roofers business manager, the 210, sitting there talking about, oh, you have to do these things to code and this, that, and the other. You should be teaching these kids right, not some hack way. No, like they're taught to code. These are to code, and they undergo inspections as a part of their exam. Like that is what this whole workforce development partnership with Crawford Tech was designed to do. These instructors are obviously certified. These kids get certifications coming out of that program. And then they brought in outside inspectors so these kids could actually stand a real world inspection. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, this didn't cost anybody anything other than just the cost of material. Where in the world are you going to find a deal like that? You're absolutely not,
Yeah.
you know. But at the end of the day, this is the right thing to do. I'm unapologetic, when it comes down to bureaucracy. When I know that there's no risk to life, limb, or harm to these folks, as opposed to what they're doing, as a leader, that's what you need to do. You mitigate your risks, you examine your risks. I mean, just like as an infantry commander, you calculate your risks. How many bodies could I lose by going over the hill? How many do I lose by not doing anything? What are those calculated risks? And I think the risks of these folks staying on the street are far, far greater than moving into a brand new tiny home that is probably, I would argue this, far greater and closer to building code and safer than probably 80% or maybe 75% of the rental stock that's in those neighborhoods already on the Lower East Side. I guarantee if you went in there and subject those homes that are already there, the people that many folks are living in, are nowhere near as safe as what we're building.
I tell you, there was a question Jeff just posted in there. He goes, what happens if I would put one of these homes on my property in the city? What's your spin on that comment?
So the law is if it was just one, you would have to have one building that has a foundation, and that's what they originally kind of denied outright. Now, mind you, that's when I hired Bob Mars, the architect. I hired CT consultants, engineers, and to do the site plans, the drawings, things of that nature. Um, so I mean, you're talking about we've got a whole team of folks that do nothing but commercial buildings. So it's not like we're not doing the necessary stuff. It's just they want to consistently keep saying, "Oh, well, now you need this. Well, now you need that." Like, and that's why building is stymied here. We're accustomed to this, and we haven't even gotten to a building plans review with BIU yet. So I mean, there's a lot of different things. So what we're asking for now is preliminary site approval to start putting the utilities in the ground. Because I mean, when it comes down to it, we're talking about buried conduit, buried PVC pipe, and water lines. Like, does it run downhill? Is it installed to code? Yes. Then that's the end of that. And then we can start putting in our foundations and then finish out these insides to get people in there when this weather turns. But if you already have a house and you wanted to put one of these tiny homes like any other shed, you could 100% do it under the city zoning as long as it meets that current zoning where they live.
Yeah, so that, like I said, that was one a good friend of the show, and he comes in here all the time, and that was a question. So yeah, I mean, this is a hot button item, and it really irritates me that it has the appearance of political. These people are the most vulnerable people of our community, and they're going to get ignored. I mean, we have homeless in Harbor Creek. They're in Summit. I know you've heard talked a lot about what's going on in Corey. Those guys up there in Corey are actually kicking some ass and doing it right. But the city of Erie just sits on their thumbs and hoping that'll just change, and it's not going to change unless we change it.
Well, I would argue. I mean, look at Corey. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there, but I mean, keep in mind what we have out there. I mean, you've got the Republican nominee for mayor and a Republican nominee for city council, both backing my opponent. So, I mean, if you think about that, I mean, there's a lot of wolf in sheep's clothing, floating around in terms of Corey. I mean, those folks, I mean, make no bones about it. Like, we know what this comes down to. It comes down to a circle of friends and money. I mean, that's a whole nother show right there in itself. But you disrupt the money, you disrupt the flow of money where it's meant to, or where they think it should go. The status quo thinks it should go. Of course, they're going to push for a weak leader that they can take advantage of. I mean, I see this all over with the nonprofits and some of the public sector unions that have backed my opponent with absolutely no platform other than literally running on everything that I already do. Um, so I mean, it's going to be it's going to be a great year, but it's going to be a really fun debate. Like, I cannot wait for these. I mean, we should debate next week. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, there's absolutely no substance over there on that other side, but, looking forward to wrapping this up. We're going to be asking for volunteers for these tiny homes. So anybody that wants to volunteer in terms of time, kind of like Habitat for Humanity. I was just on one of their builds last week. They needed some help, and we tried to help them out with some stuff. But we're going to be looking to do this in all different areas. And anybody that's interested, just watch for the call on my social media. I'm sure Brian, you'll share it across, and we'll get this done for some people in need. But I think we can do this very quickly with a group of volunteers, some groups of donors, and bring this tiny homes project home.
Yeah, I know when you put this thing out on the table the first time, I know we talked about it. And I said, listen, I am not a contractor or construction guy. I've got a bucket full of good tools, and I'm not afraid to work. So whenever you were ready, you let me know, and I'll bring it to the troops here, and we will get a work detail out there like we always do when you need.
Wouldn't be the first time we've been on a roof together, but there's no roofing on this project. So
yeah, that's why Tim's mad at us, because we stepped on his toes. Yeah, I had to literally block him on social media because he's.
Oh, you're talking about Johnson.
Yeah, the roofing guy.
Old Scott Johnson.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it's anything, but I mean, you talk about that. It's because it's not only that, but it's because we opened the public bidding up. I mean, there's only 3 local roofing union companies that would bid on these things, and 2 of them are owned by the same people. So I mean, really, that's all you got to do. So, like, I mean, he's just mad because they haven't gotten a single roof since we opened it up to anybody to bid that's qualified. I mean, the prison roof, it beat the second place price by $400,000. I mean, have we been doing things under the old way? I'm pretty confident that roof would have cost the taxpayers another $600,000-700,000, and I think their numbers were a lot lower because they knew they were competing against other private sector contractors, and they still didn't make the cut. So I mean, it's nothing against those folks that do the work, but it's forcing people to sharpen their pencils when they're bidding for the county. It's not just going to be a canned hunt. We're not going to come out and just tie the 12-point buck up for whatever, public sector companies accustomed to getting the bids and just letting them slay it. Like those days are over. Like there's a watchdog for the taxpayer. I'm there to save you money. And this tiny homes project hasn't cost anybody anything. So
we get that, and that was the thing when I sat on council as a chairman, we were always making sure that the money is absolutely right on there. And look, at the Democrats played politics. They called for a whole big, have everything checked. And then you came over, $4 million in the plus on that project?
Yep. Well, I mean, we had so we didn't have any overages on the prison project, but we returned a $4 million surplus to the budget last year. But I just finished up a work day and my phone's about to die, so I got to get in here and get it on the charger. But always fun chatting.
Yeah, you're always welcome here. Like I said, it wasn't unplanned. All of a sudden, I get a message from Brenda. Hey, Brenton Davis wants to talk. Oh,
there you go. Well, good seeing you. Let's get to work.
Let's get to work. Thanks. Talk to you later. Well, there you had it. There's nothing more I can do. I mean, I can bring you the news right off the internet. And what do we get? We get Brenton Davis watching. I knew he was in the room because he said hello and everything. So yeah, it's nice to see the people volunteering to get to work. Trust me, when it's time to get to work, we will put an all call out. I want to see our young lieutenant out there and making sure that lieutenants do what lieutenants do, stand around with their hands in their pockets. No, I'm kidding. I know you wouldn't do that. But yeah, so there you got it. I mean, there you have it, right from the horse's mouth. No editing. This is why we do the show live, is that way you and me and us can do this show with no baloney, no shenanigans, no editing. Film doesn't end up on the floor. It's an old saying, but that way you hear exactly what it's about. I mean, he just looks like he got home from doing something because he's just a busy guy. All right, Dave, you're live. Thanks for calling in, my friend. What's up?
Yes, sir. I just happened to get home. I was checking my Facebook account. And I seen you're live.
Sundays at 7 p.m., sir.
Oh, it's 7 now. I thought it was like 4.
No. Well, we did that about 3 months ago. We did the changeover. People were like, that's not, we do it at 3. It's too busy. I want to sit out in suntan. All right, we'll move it to 7. So no big deal. It's all recorded. Don't worry about it.
Okay, well, that's good. I see Brenton on there talking about the tiny homes.
Yes, because the city.
Yeah, why can't they just leave them up on 16th Street, right where they're at? Just run some lines, some electric lines, some gas lines, have a big area right there and leave them there.
Well, that would make sense. And coming from two gray-haired, common sense kind of guys, there's probably about 1,000. Listen, they already have a spot picked out. And the city's busting their chops,
What's the spot?
That I don't know. I should have asked Brenton, but like you said, his phone was getting ready to die. So, I was trying to field as many questions as I could. But send him a message. He'll answer you.
Yeah, mine's ready to go too here. I noticed. Unless I plug in my wire here, I can do that.
No, I get it. So, but no, that's we it's all in the news. It's all over social media. I ran it up the flagpole. The local media has been doing a pretty good job on this. I'm actually shocked. I'm shocked that the local news is picking this story up because it's got Brenton Davis's name to it, and it's good for the community. But again, the city of Erie pissing around with politics, and they're screwing the pooch on this deal.
Well, that's normal.
Right.
It's all politics for these Dems in this town.
Oh, I get it. And trust me, we'll play the video about how that was. I think that was your video actually put together about the city falling in its ratings and its rankings because of population.
Oh yeah, that one there. Yeah,
that's a good one. We play that one very consistently because it sends a very clear message that Erie, you better get your shit together.
Yeah, they're falling in the population's falling.
I swear they trip over themselves to outdumb themselves. It's just like, I don't think you were on the show. I said, look at city council. You got a racist that just brags about how racist she is. You got a guy that basically almost committed a felony by throwing rocks at people's cars. And then you got a guy admitting he shot somebody. Wow, that's a real good lineup, boys and girls. Real good lineup.
Yep, that's what they vote for.
Yeah, vote blue no matter who, as I throw up as I say it.
As long as you got a D in front of your
right
front of the name, they'll vote for you in this town.
I know, but this is, and then they sit there like, well, the city sucks, the crime sucks, the roads suck, everything. Stop voting Democrats in.
Yeah, they keep saying another one. They're using a slogan, time for a change. Well, vote for another Democrat. That ain't going to change anything.
No, yeah.
You really want to change something? Let's just let's try an R for a while here. Give it a chance.
What did President Trump say when he was a candidate? What do you got to lose?
What do you got to lose?
You're already at the bottom of the pile and falling slippery quickly.
Only one way to go.
It's up, but hey,
that's up.
But see, then again, that is some philosophies that the Republican Party has done wrong. That they foo-foo the mail-in ballots. I get it. If you don't like them, don't participate with them. But don't bitch when we lose and you didn't get out and vote. That's been my whole theme of this show for the last 2 years. Get up and vote. If you don't, shut up.
Yeah, right. Well,
got me worked up. I got to go take my blood pressure
medicine. Get out there and vote. That's all you got to do. I vote election day.
Yeah.
I know that some people say the same thing, but yet if the weather gets a little bad, well, I can't go, so you lose that vote. So a lot of people say vote early to get your vote in. Now I'll go whether it's snowing, raining, earthquaking.
I know.
I'll go down. I want to go in person too because I like to see these people at the voting places. And I pull out. First thing I do is I pull out my driver's license and give it to them.
Oh yeah.
I have yet to see them say you don't need to do that, and I want them to say that because then I'll say, oh yes, I do. Because fine. This is what everybody should do.
Oh, and you're absolutely right. And you know what? I always tell people like, well, it's bad. I said, listen, when George Washington was fighting for our freedoms as a country, it was freezing. These people froze to death on the battlefield, and they crossed the Potomac, pushing icebergs out of the way. For God's sake, I think you can drive your remote start car down there and sashay your backside in and vote. That's simple, boys and girls. That's simple.
Well, especially I don't know about these other places in Erie. I don't know about Harbor Creek or Fairview or whatever, but I know where I vote, there's no wait at all. No. I walk in, I go right in. That's it. It's bing, bang, boom. Yeah. And that is strictly a Democrat district.
Well, because they have capitalized on the mail-in ballot. The Democrat Party put together a plan to go. They know they can pull all your voting history up. People are like, well, that's secret. No, it's not, boys and girls. It's public information. Every party should do it. The Republicans barely started doing it. Now they're amazingly going, oh my God, look at this. We do this. We get results. Well, no shit. The Democrats have been doing it for years. They find they find the voter that doesn't get out and vote. They go right to their house. Hey, here's a mail-in ballot. Put the Cheetos down. Shut the Netflix off. I'll help you fill this out. You'll get a ballot, and then you can fill it out and mail it in. And that's how they capitalize on the mail-in ballots. The Republicans kind of were slow in the uptick. We're getting it. There's some great commercials out right now about, hey, we got out and we got President Trump elected, and it partially was because of the mail-in ballots. You don't like them, don't use them. But don't bitch when we don't win. That's simple.
Yeah, that's a good point you just made. I never thought of that. They look for the people that don't vote.
Nope.
The ones that don't vote, then they go to their houses and confront them.
Yep.
Yeah, I never thought of that one. I always thought, I know I get They know that I vote.
You're a
They'll
super
come to
voter.
the house. I got all kinds of mailings and what have you. But yeah, the ones that don't vote, that's the kicker.
Right.
Never thought of that.
They know mathematically. They look at the super voters. Okay, Dave is a super voter. We can spend a couple bucks on him, but why waste our assets on him when, Sammy, lazy ass down on the lower west 2nd Street doesn't get out and vote? They'll dispatch a volunteer to go out there. They'll hand them to him. They'll help him fill it out. And then, he'll wipe the cheese puffs from his face and, maybe put the Netflix down enough to do this. That's how they did it. And Republicans
True.
We're Republicans. We get out and we vote in person. No, you don't. 24% turnout rates is not a turnout. That's a joke.
Yeah, I never thought of that one. That's a good point.
That's how they did it. Then that's how
go after the people that don't vote.
Right. Because
that are registered. They got to be registered, though, right?
Yeah, well, yes, because they know that they're registered. They haven't voted in the last 5 years, or they only come out and vote for the presidential races, which I get. Those are the big sexy ones. But these ones that are up like right now are changing city council. They're going to change county council, and those are the ones that come after your taxes. Hello, McFly, let's go.
Yeah.
Man, look at you got me sweating. I'm so irritated.
I got you all fired up here. Well, all right. That's all I got to say.
All right. Dave,
I think I got a report that somebody's seen somebody at the bank's teller window the other day. Not the teller window, but the ATM machine the other day.
That was me.
Oh, that was you?
I drove by and saw somebody on a bicycle at the Mac machine at the bank. That's no one ever there.
I didn't want to give up any names or anything.
I did. I'll kick myself. I'm not snitching on anybody but myself. I ain't scared.
Right.
I got the Roofers Union president mad at me. He calls me all kinds of names on social media. So, you knock yourself out, El Presidente. And you wonder why you guys are a dying trade because your leadership sucks.
All right, then. That's all I got.
Thanks,
I'm going to listen. All right, bye.
Appreciate it. All right, there you go. Live reports from Dave downtown, Yeah, we had an unexpected guest show up. That's awesome. Brenton Davis out there doing what he's doing. It looks like he was working. Go figure. On a Sunday when all the rest of us are, eating cheese puffs and Netflix. So, Brenda, what do you got next for a video to get the people fired up about?
Here's where we are at today. Yesterday, Attorney General Ken Paxton and I took action to domesticate the civil arrest warrants in the state of Illinois, seeking to make them enforceable beyond Texas state lines. I expect suits in other states will be forthcoming. Chairman Guerin of House Administration has also contacted the Sergeant-at-Arms of Illinois House of Representatives requesting their direct assistance in returning absent members. For those that have fled to Illinois or to California, be reminded that the FBI's assistant has reportedly been enlisted, and their powers are not confined to any singular state's boundaries. As far as new administrative policies in our chamber go, Comptroller Kelly Hancock and I have enacted a new policy stating that any member absent for the purpose of breaking quorum will no longer have their paycheck or per diem deposited electronically. Those checks must now be picked up in person on Capitol grounds, effective immediately. Starting today, to safeguard taxpayer dollars and account for forthcoming liabilities under Rule 5, Section 3 of House Rules, which authorizes fines for members absent without leave, 30% of each quorum-breaking member's monthly operating budget will be reserved and made unavailable for expenditure. Absent members must also appear in person to approve or enact any of the following: requests for travel reimbursement, personal action requests, including those increasing or decreasing staff salaries, approval for newsletters and House of Reproduction services. Failure to appear in person will result in the cancellation of your newsletters and the encumbered funds. We have all hands on deck. We are continuing to explore new avenues to compel a quorum, and will keep pressing forward until the job is done. Finally, today, Dr. Greg Bonning will file House Bill 3, the House's priority legislation for flood recovery and infrastructure funding, developed after 25 hours of testimony from Texans whose lives were upended by the July 4th floods. To those in California, Illinois, New York, or Massachusetts, wherever you may be, hear this. The bill cannot be referred to committee without a quorum. Every hour you remain away is time stolen from those Texans in need. Each one of you knows that eventually you will come back, and we will pass the priorities of the special session on the call. But with each passing day, the political cost of your absence is rising, and it will be paid in full.
Hey everyone, we're continuing to follow this Texas redistricting story. A lot of developments just today. Today was the deadline Republicans in the state gave Democrats who have since left Texas that they either come back now or they could face consequences. Well, we're seeing the first steps of those potential consequences. The Attorney General, Ken Paxton, filed a lawsuit with the state Supreme Court naming 13 of these Democrats to be removed from their seats, to be totally gone from the positions they were elected for. So we'll see if the court rules in favor one way or another. At the same time, the Republican who's at the head of the state house there, the state speaker of the house, he's giving measures that are basically designed to pressure these Democrats to come back. And one is, he says, you're not going to get your direct deposit payments anymore. So if these Democrats want to get paid, he says they literally have to come all the way back to Texas, to the Capitol in Austin, and physically pick up their checks. Now, again, that is a measure specifically designed to sort of coerce them to come back. We actually talked to some of the Democrats who've since left the state. They say they're not really going to be moved. They say they will be resolved in this fight despite all of the pressure that's now being put on them. The State House Speaker also said that Texas public safety officers are going to be going around the country to find these Democrats to bring them back. He says if that happens over the weekend, and many of them are back in Texas, then he's going to call the legislature back in, and they will continue this special session and try to vote on these new maps if Democrats, again, are brought by law enforcement back to the state.
So first, this could literally last years because in Texas, I'm authorized to call a special session every 30 days. It lasts 30 days. And as soon as this one is over, I'm going to call another one, then another one, then another one, then another one. If they show back up in the state of Texas, they will be arrested and taken to the Capitol. If they want to evade that arrest, they're going to have to stay outside of the state of Texas for literally years. And they might as well just start voting in California or voting in Illinois, wherever they may be. And that will aid and support the lawsuit that I filed in the Texas Supreme Court saying that these lawmakers have abandoned their seat because we are incapable of conducting business for the people of Texas because they have fled. This is the most un-Texan thing we've ever seen. In Texas, from the time of the Alamo until today, Texas stand and fight. What these cowards did, they didn't stand and fight. They fled and went to leftist blue states that may be more aligned with their personal philosophy that is not welcome in the state of Texas.
Well, things are going to heat up in Texas. Boy, I tell you what, and the governor, I mean, I agree with him. I get him. But the one thing he said that I will disagree just a little bit, he goes, it's very un-Texan. It's very un-American to do that, to let the people that are suffering from these horrendous floods suffer because of politics. Oh, wait a minute. Why do we always say about the Democrats? Party over people. And this is a prime example. And they are getting their nose bent out of shape over gerrymandering. And we have done it. They have done it over and over and over, state by state by state by county. That's okay. That's okay. But the minute we push back, we're out of here. And Beto O'Rourke, Burke, whatever that guy's from Texas name, he ran for president. I'm going to come get your AR-15s. Yeah, he's funding these people. Yeah, well, they put a court injunction against that too. They knocked his stuff off. He's not paying for that crap anymore. So you know what? You hit them in their pocketbooks and hit them hard. But most of these people are multimillionaires anyway. So who cares? Kim, let me. I figured this out today. We went live And this show runs about 30 seconds a delay. So that's why sometimes Kim gets tripped up about when to call in. I'll call her.
Well, I just knew my timing would be off again, Brian.
Well, I figured it out. It's a 30-second delay. I didn't realize that. I had it on my phone, looking at my, at everything live. It's about 30-second delay. So yeah, it's not you. It's just the fact that when we put this up into the internet, it goes to Restream servers and it gets shotgun back out. So I mean, 30 seconds. God only knows where they're at. So how are we doing today, Miss Kim?
We are doing great. You know,
Awesome.
I got to give a big shout out to everybody that came and joined me at the Italian Fest. It was like the whole group was there. Now I know you and Brenda had to work, but Gwen and Matt were there with their son.
Yay.
I had both Brads there.
How lucky you are.
I know. And Mr. Lou Aliota came out and gave his support. Mr. Dunn and Mr. Ridner were there. And I ran into an old friend of yours who told me to make sure I say hello to you.
Uh-oh, who is it?
Miss Julie Slomsky.
Yeah, right.
Well, actually, she was working it, and she came. She saw me before I saw her, and she come running out from the table and had to give me a big old hug. I'm like, what did I do wrong that she always has to hug me now?
I sure hope you use some disinfectant because she's a liar. She's a bold-faced liar. The thing she did to me, I can't even talk about on the air because I don't want to get sued because she's mad at me because I didn't vote for her because I knew she's just nothing but a wannabe career politician that is connected. And you cut her, she bleeds Democrat. And
or as my mother-in-law would say, she's slicker than fish grease.
Wow. And I'm just coming off I thought I was bringing my blood pressure down. Now you bring Julie Slomsky on my show. Thanks a lot.
We like to get you fired up. But and another big thank you to our big group that showed up at Dan Rice Days for the parade.
Awesome.
That was just so much fun. It was so much fun. I got 2 phone calls today. So everybody, I'm supposed to give you a shout out from Mayor Longo and another one from Scott Pressler. Scott says he's very proud of all of us. If nobody's doing anything, starting this Friday, the beginning of Celebrate Erie Day starts. Yep. So we will be out there, the whole group, sometime Friday evening, sometime Saturday evening, and we'll be passing out things. The Italian Festival was really successful. We engaged with about 75 voters, passing out the cards and everything. And they were very enthusiastic. So I don't know if it's just an Italian thing, but, they seem very enthusiastic about voting red.
Yeah, I agree.
This Tuesday night, Mr. Lou Aliota said, if nobody's doing anything, if you can come out to County Council, come out about 6 o'clock. He has reserved time to speak. So he says fireworks are going to be going off. So it could be very interesting.
Yeah, just and I always encourage people to go to these, but be very careful because that one little element that's running around the city of Erie that are spending 2 hours at city council meetings, they are now going after county council. So if you're going to go, you better be there early and you better be ready to wait because they're going to go after county council over something that's a state entity. But hey, whatever, they want to be mad at the district attorney. This is how much power we have over the district attorney. The only time we ever hear or say anything to the district attorney is when she comes down with her budget, and her budget is like perfectly balanced to the last penny. And she's like, well, I just brought in $2 million of grant money. This is a pass through, man, you make my job so easy. Thank you, Miss.
I just love, I love Beth. Beth is such a good person. She's beautiful on the inside and beautiful on the outside. Sunday school teacher, I just love her. You just look at her and you can tell she's got good karma going.
Yeah, we're blessed to have her. She's elected. She goes to the events. She doesn't play the political card. She really doesn't. And I respect that because in her position, she has to. She's got a really good track record. And when she came to council, said, hey, our detectives need this special secret squirrel sniffing device to do this. How much do you need? Do we have that? Yes, we can get you your secret squirrel special sniffing device because we don't want to tell her no because then parking tickets would show up on our cars. No, I'm kidding. That's a total joke. She wouldn't do that, but we supported her, supported her office. They're like, hey, we need another investigator. Well, that's a lot of money, ma'am. Well, this is how I'm going to pay for it. I'm like, oh, man, you make my job easy. Thank you.
Yeah. And the thing is, they do an excellent job,
Yes,
and they work so hard. They work so hard. And then I'm really excited about this other event in August. We have Tall Ships returning to Erie on the 21st.
Big event.
So, yep. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then the following weekend, we have the German Festival on that. Now that's going to be a busy weekend because the 30th is the German Festival. But on the 1st, that's going to be a crazy day, guys and girls. We have been allowed, this is never heard of, Republicans, we have been allowed to enter the Labor Day parade.
Mind blowing.
So they graciously allowed me to enter. So we need walkers because we have some big surprises that are going to get tossed out to the Democrats.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
Yeah. So if we can get some walkers to volunteer, we really, really appreciate it because we're going to be going right down the middle of State Street. And I guarantee you the Democrats will show up at this one. So we want to look good and we want to look big.
Yes. And not, so we need walkers, not like the Walking Dead walkers, but people to walk and throw candy and confetti stuff,
Right.
It's just the fact that, these are the things that haven't been done in the past that we have always tried to do, but we just can't get enough people do it. And now we have turned the corner where we've got a good, solid core group of people that are saying, wait a minute, that crazy guy at Harbor Creek, he's actually right. We got to put up or shut up. And this is what we're doing,
Yeah, we have a beautiful core group, but we're always welcoming other people to join with us. And we just have so much fun. And then afterwards, we're all going to take a ride out to Waldemere for the ECRC picnic. So, it's completely free, everybody. And if you've not signed up, just go to ECRC website. You can sign up. It's completely free. And we're all going to go out there after the parade and we're going to eat some free hot dogs and some free hamburgers. And we're going to listen to the people running for office, but it's always a good time. And then, yeah. And then afterwards, on September 5th, that's a Friday. Thank you very much, Mark. I love you, love you, love you. And Brian, we will be having a special meet and greet on Buffalo Road, and we'll send out more information about that. Brian has it on his on the Facebook. I've been spreading out on Facebook, and Harrison Dunn will be promoting that as well. So that will be a lot of fun. And the weekend after that, we're already into the Albion Fair Parade. So I mean, we got a lot of stuff going on, everybody. And Brian and I will keep you up to date on boots on the ground.
Yeah, and that's what we do. That's why we do the show. That's why Brent and I and everybody, and the old saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village to have a podcast, and you guys have never, ever, ever, ever disappointed me. This is the reason why we're here. That's why this year I'm so proud to say we are a contender for Erie Choice Awards. It's
number
not me.
one. Number one.
I hope so. It's all about the votes. And
right.
Let's hope there's no shenanigans when they count the votes and it's done by the book and the way it's supposed to, because I feel
I'm not even worried about that because I am so smart and I'm so sneaky. I got Lou Aliotta and Greg Hayes going up there to watch them from the time they start till the time they finish.
Gotcha. All right, kiddo. Well, I just got a note from the boss says we got to roll. We didn't expect Bretton Davis, and of course
that's okay. I love Bretton, so I'll let everybody go. But you can go to my website if you have any questions, or give me a call, or call Brian because he's my handler. And everybody have a joyful Sunday. Bye, bye, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Yeah, so there you go. I mean, like I said, we try to get everyone's calls in. It's a lot of people wanted to talk tonight. Bretton Davis, this is a huge. It's not a red thing. It's not a blue thing. It's a red, white, blue thing. These are our people that are, for whatever reason, homeless. If you live in a city, call these elected officials and tell them to stop playing politics and let's get this thing done. There's no reason not to do this. No reason other than. I love, I don't even know the guy's name was on the TV. Well, these are state regulations. No, they're a guideline. They're saying, this is where you should be. And like Brenton said, I didn't even know that. He explained the appeal process. And I was personally involved with the project up there in Summit at the sports arena when they had a little problem with some zoning stuff. and some building stuff. Oh, amazing. It all worked itself out. Pow. Brenda, play a video, please. I need a drink of water.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The Declaration of Independence proclaims God-given rights, and we intend to protect them. Working with people like you for over 50 years, preserving freedom and building a better tomorrow. Safeguarding the Constitution by limiting government power. We are restoring liberties, educating voters, and leading the freedom movement. Join with us. United, we will defend our rights. We are all Americans. We are the John Birch Society.
Here tonight at 11, the 2020 census results are showing Erie now to be the 5th largest city in the state of Pennsylvania, right behind the city of Reading. This is a change from a decade ago when Erie was the 4th largest in the Commonwealth. Julia Hazel joins us now live in the control room with a look at the numbers. Julia, it's kind of alarming.
Yes, good evening, Jill. Now, according to the 2020 census, the Erie population is on a decline, and we spoke to Erie County and city officials on their reaction. And despite some of the best efforts of trying to get that population number over 100,000, there still is a chance that it could happen. The city of Erie experienced a 7% drop in population numbers from a decade ago, according to 2020 census, resulting in this year's total of 94,831. The population of Erie, according to the census, is under 100,000 people. This has a significant impact on how much money the city will receive.
Hey, we think there were a lot of people that didn't get counted.
In hopes to see the population numbers increase in time for the next census, there are a few tips residents in Erie can do.
That simple, boys and girls. That simple. Stop doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome, especially with the gaggle they have on city council now. Wow. But yeah, I mean, these are in really important times. These are very critical times. And, with all the politics that we show on the national and we show locally, there's a common thread. And the common thread is even in New York's city of Erie, city of New York's mayoral race, 9% of the population came out and voted, and they voted. The Democrats picked a whack job, socialist, commie, weird guy that has no business ever even being considered for mayor. But people did not get out and vote in the primary, and look what you got. And now you got the three of them running around on the Republican side, which is absolutely one of the dumbest things I have ever seen in politics. Dumb. You got the Republican, and then you got Cuomo that got thrown out. You got the crazy mayor that was indicted until, Trump saved his ass from going to jail. These clowns actually think they've got a chance. Stop hurting the Republican. But see, I'm telling you, I'm thinking it's part of the game. It's these folks that put these projects together and these campaign people are strategists. They're political science people. They know what to do to make you and me vote a certain way. It's psychology. It really is. It's just like in the military with our young lieutenant will tell you. Psychological operations, psyops. They know what to do to create an action or a reaction by just pushing this over here. It's just like, whoop, we know where the nerves are. We know where to push the nerve. Boop, you go out. That's simple. So they are absolutely being a blocker on the Republicans because they don't want a Republican as the mayor of the city of New York. And then you're going to get whatever this clown's name is as the mayor. And we're all going to feel the effect of it. You don't think this isn't going to affect us? New York is the financial capital of this country. Probably the world, if I'm not mistaken. And you're going to let these people say, well, you know what? We're going to take over the groceries. we're going to let homeless people live in the subways. So that means your subways are going to turn into a walk-in toilet with probably urine and feces running down the sidewalks. That will literally cripple the subway system. Well, guess what? Most of the people will probably have already left. And you watch these corporations, this clown gets in there, you watch these big businesses say, we're out of here. We're going down to Florida. We might go down to Texas if they get their shit together. Video, please, Brenda.
Hakeem Jeffries says that no illegal immigrant has ever received a dime's worth of benefits from Medicaid.
And for SNAP benefits, not a single undocumented immigrant in this country gets a dime in federal taxpayer dollars for any part of comprehensive Medicaid coverage. Not one.
I'm sure we can trust Hakeem Jeffries as the ultimate authority, so please ignore all of these contradicting reports. From Fox News, Newsom partially blames Trump for Medicaid freeze for illegal immigrants. Or this report, Democrats defend Medicaid coverage for illegal immigrants. Or this report, California improperly claimed $52.7 million in federal Medicaid reimbursement for capitation payments made on behalf of non-citizens with unsatisfactory immigration status. Or what about this one? CBO Medicaid spending on illegal aliens has cost taxpayers over $16.2 billion under open borders or Harris. I can do this all day, Hakeem.
I love this guy. He absolutely, positively gets it. He is so funny. I mean, I can't even get my insert sarcasm sign up here fast enough because he is just so witty. And again, how many times do these Democrats have to lie to the people so they don't actually get it that they're lying? Boldface. Here's your proof. Here's your proof. Here's your proof. Here's your proof. No. Trump bad. Trump bad. Trump. It's funny. You watch these politicians on the Democrat side. The only argument they have is the poor illegals, undocumented, and Trump. That's the only two words that come out of their mouth. Now, Nancy Pelosi actually did break script a little bit, and she talked about getting Trump, and making sure that we get federal funding back for the LGBTQ children, so when they're little, they can have their surgeries paid for by the federal government. It'll be a cold day in hell. Why do you think the Democrat Party is below a 20% approval rating, and they're dying on these hills? And I put a post up the other day. It was talking about all this shenanigans and the same rhetoric over and over. They're just gonna beat this dead horse until it's just a pile of lumpy nothing, because they have nothing else to argue or fight with. Video, please, Brenda.
We are checking out Jasmine Crockett's district today, talking to people and getting the real story about what's going on here in South Dallas. Seen better days, and I got to tell you, a lot of people have a lot to say about Jasmine. Let's go ahead and look at where she represents, and it's sort of a really good reflection of who she is. It's ghetto as hell, it's broke, and it's hard to look at. A bar and grill church, which I think is really unique. Still got payphones. Well, the selected one. Lots and lots and lots of trash and lots of blight. It's like no business is actually open. Just doing a walk through Jasmine Crockett's district. Interesting. Just so much blight. Like, haven't seen an open business, like, at all. But hey, at least we got a free public toilet.
The people living in South Dallas were kind to us. They were warm and gentle, and they deserve better than a code-switching theater kid playing a hood rat representing them in Congress.
No one could have told me that when I went down to Austin, now looks like a little bit over a year ago, that I would be running for Congress.
Listen, Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Okay, we know that. Yes, he is.
You are fake news.
You could almost take that story about Jasmine, edit out Jasmine in Texas, and put Jasmine in Erie, and walk down an Erie street and find the same shenanigans. So I don't know if it's a Jasmine thing or it's just a Democrat thing, but they kind of do run some close parallels. Video, please, Brenda.
All right, Fox News Alert now as we take a look at the markets with just a couple hours left in trading. The Dow is up 223 points. This says JP Morgan is now forecasting an interest rate cut in September and 4 more by the end of the year. Okay, so markets are taking all of this in. In the meantime, Charles Payne is here to make sense of this. Charles Payne of Making Money.
Yeah.
Because people are looking to make money in this environment. And it seems, even when we ran our very unscientific poll on our show Twitter account, what is most concerning to you right now? Is it prices? Is it employment? Overwhelming majority said it's interest rates coming down. So do you believe that this is the case, that we're going to see several cuts by the end of the year?
Absolutely. Everything changed on Friday morning at 8:30 when those job numbers came down and those revisions came down, because right at that point, the consensus was September, there's maybe a 30% chance of a rate cut. Overwhelmingly, everyone sees that. Now, if you talk about 4, that means there's going to be at least 150 basis point cut. That starts to add a sense of urgency. That really tells you, by the way, if the Fed has to do that, that will really be so damning for Jay Powell, because his position, anytime you have to do more than 25 basis points, it means that they're behind, right? It will sort of cement the notion that, yeah, Jay Powell is late yet again. And to your point, why are there so many people care? This is what makes me so angry with the Federal Reserve. They always look at us as a whole nation. Small businesses, we have to refinance under these higher rates this year. Many can't do it. They can't make payroll. So you have small businesses that are hurting. You have individuals that are hurting. We just got a couple days ago from the New York Fed delinquency rates. All of them are spiking. So it's one of these things that Main Street America needs. And now you're seeing more evidence in the labor market, which is one of their key jobs, of course, for the Federal Reserve.
Yeah. Talked to a good friend of mine the other day, and he just plays the stock market, just a working guy like everybody else. It's like, I'm okay with making money. And he just sits there on his computer, click, 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 click. Maybe we can get Harrison Dunn to come in one of these evenings and kind of give us a crash course on how all this works. I don't claim to know how any of it works. We just look at the people that are the smart people, and they tell us which way to go. Brenda, video, so we can go and wrap this thing up.
100 days of winning, and we are just getting started. Let's break it all down in this week's MAGA Minute. As usual, President Trump spent the week answering an unprecedented number of questions from the press, even on the roof, on Squawk Box, and everywhere in between. President Trump signed an executive order establishing a White House task force on the 2028 Summer Olympics, which will take place in Los Angeles, California. The president signed a presidential memorandum directing the Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, to require higher education institutions receiving federal financial assistance to be transparent regarding their admissions practices. No more DEI admissions. Tim Cook visited the White House to announce billions more dollars in investments in America. That means more jobs for you and your family. The administration also hosted 100 Purple Heart recipients at the White House to celebrate their incredible sacrifices to our country. The president wrapped up the week by securing a historic peace deal, yet another one, between Armenia and Azerbaijan, ending a decades-long conflict that has killed thousands of people. Also this week, Nancy Pelosi doubled down on the Democrats' desire to mutilate the private parts of our nation's innocent children. HHS announced plans to cut Medicare and Medicaid to any hospital that provides what they call this barbaric practice, gender-affirming care. The Department of Agriculture this week brought the whole cabinet together to celebrate the Great American Farmers Market on the National Mall, reaffirming the Trump administration's commitment to our agricultural community and our farmers. And the president also signed an executive order ensuring fair access to banking for all Americans, putting an end to the debanking practice that we have seen weaponized against Americans based on their political beliefs. I hope you're not tired of winning yet. Tune in next week for another jam-packed MAGA Minute.
Yeah, I mean, that's my little funny ha-ha thingy I always go do about, I got to take a nap because I'm tired of winning, because this is just one of these things that this is why we voted for him. I've said it once, I said it 1,000 I'll say it again tonight. I don't agree with everything he does or how he says it, but you know what? I don't care. He put this country first. Our pocketbooks are starting to show it. People think, "Well, the groceries are so expensive." Okay, 6 months. He's been there 6 months. I mean, he's tackled some huge forest fires. Pardon the pun on that one. It's just like when Brenton and talking with Chuck about rocks. I don't know if he did that on purpose or that was just one of those Freudian slips, but man, I was just like, I loved you guys in the room, how they just all lit up about Chucky and rocks. I mean, that will always be Chucky's thing, about him and his rocks thing. Brendan, is that it? I think I don't see more on the queue. Is that it?
That is it today.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and bring this thing in for a landing. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. It's Sunday. We went an hour and a half on a Sunday, which is odd, but we had a special guest, unplanned. Brenton just, once we establish a video link with somebody, that link is assigned to them. All they really have to do is just click it. Brenda brings them into the queue. It goes to her, the producer. She sits on the queue, sends me a message, says, "Hey, Brenton's here on his link." Boom, bring it in the room. So she sits out in her co-command center and puts this all together, and we just chat back and forth and about what we need to do. So yeah, Dave, we're almost there. So Brenda, outro video, please.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. Sing it! God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the
All right, everybody, thanks for coming out on this Sunday day. And again, we always say special thank you to Brenda for everything she does to make this whole thing, this whole magical thing happen. And of course, I always say thank you to the viewers, the supporters, because this is definitely a team effort to make this all this magic happen. and always striving to make it just a little bit better. Yes, Brenda.
Don't forget to thank the Democrats that put it on their Facebook page.
Oh yeah, yeah. We've been we're making history. They've been putting my stuff on their page because they're like, look what Shank's talking about. Look, he's got politicians that are Democrats coming on his show. Yeah. What's wrong with that? We brought both of our judges in and had a conversation because you know what? It's not supposed to be an R or a D. The judges are supposed to be a neutral entity to bring the blind justice to bear. So why not have them both on? And they're like, well, yeah, but Mursky was on Shank's show. Well, so was Leitner. So, nice try, nice spin. If you don't like Miss Mursky, don't vote for her. If you don't like Leitner, don't vote for him. We just put the facts on the table for y'all to watch and listen to, and y'all make that decision. That's what we're here for. So that's why we really wanted to have both judges that are running on the show. That way you, the voters, can vote how you choose. All right. Thank you all for coming again. Thank you again for all coming out. Flip that over there. And I will see you, what is today? Sunday. We'll see you guys Wednesday at 8:00. If you guys got any good stories, photographs, or anything you want to share with me, shoot them to me. We'll get them on the air for you. Thank you, and Shank out.